8 of the rarest human diseases and medical conditions in the world. Number 8, Hutchinson-Gilford progeria. Hutchinson's Gilford progeria, often called simply progeria, is a rare but sad medical condition. Since 1886, some 130 cases of progeria have been reported. The condition affects newborns or very young children. It's often nicknamed premature aging because its symptoms closely resemble those of advanced age. I've definitely seen like episodes like Maury Povich or something with one of these kids on it. They look like that, like Benjamin Button, you know?
Yeah, I've seen them.
The child's skin will begin to look wrinkled and old, their hair will fall out, and they'll develop protruding eyes and thin facial features. Later on, loss of eyesight, kidney failure, and heart problems will set in, just like with a venerable senior. There's currently no known cure for progeria. Sufferers generally die before the age of 15. Wow. What a crazy disease, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually get a disease that makes a little kid look like a senior citizen.
Yeah.
It's just...
Nuts.
This one I've actually never heard of. Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Alice in Wonderland syndrome, AIWS, is as strange and unusual as the book it's named after. The condition causes bizarre hallucinations that affect the sufferer's perception of their body and the surrounding objects. It's common for people with Alice in Wonderland syndrome to observe objects as much larger or smaller than they actually are. They may also feel like their body is somehow out of proportion. In addition to perceiving touches or sounds that aren't there, one of the strangest things that the people experiencing AIWS often know what they're seeing isn't right, but they're unable to help it. It's hard to say exactly how rare AIWS is. It is rare, but some reports say up to 15% of migraine sufferers experience it at some point. I mean, that's kind of a weird correlation that people, like, 15% of people with migraine. Because it does seem like, to me, like, I mean, I don't know what percentage of the population's, regularly has migraines, but it seems like I've come across quite a few people that have that. And 15% of them have maybe experienced a degree of this.
Right.
You'd think maybe it'd be something you heard about before, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it seemed kind of common.
Number 6, Kuru. The good thing about Kuru is that you hopefully never have to worry about catching it. The disease was limited almost entirely to the Fore tribe in Papua New Guinea, who traditionally cooked and ate their dead as part of their funeral rites. Particularly, they ate the brain. However, the human brain can contain proteins called prions, which can damage the neural system. As a result, the sufferers begin to experience symptoms such as tremors, uncontrollable laughter, and eventual loss of mobility and death. The Fore haven't practiced cannibalism for a long time, and the prevalence of the disease has decreased greatly. Yet it still exists and is not necessarily the result of cannibalism. What a weird, like, I guess that's one way of disposing of your dead. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
we'll just eat them.
if it's not exactly the result of cannibalism, then, like, what, eating cow brains or something? Or
It doesn't say, but you would think if the main thing is caused by consuming these prions in the brain, that maybe it's due to eating other animal brains.
Yeah.
Maybe the chilled monkey brains from Indiana Jones and the Temple.
Yeah. They're a delicacy.
Number 5, Lush-Nihan syndrome. Whereas the Fore caught Kuru for consuming others, the Lush-Nihan syndrome may force you to eat yourself. This condition is very rare and affects only males, but it can be very dangerous. Lush-Nihan syndrome stems from the buildup of uric acid in the body. Isn't that what gout is?
That's what I thought, yeah.
Excess uric acid hinders the functioning of the nervous system and can produce extreme aggravation. The cognitively impaired sufferers often release aggression by injuring themselves. They may bang their heads on objects, bite their nails, or even gnaw off pieces of their own skin and flesh. There's no way to cure Lush-Nihan syndrome, but its symptoms can be treated. As a result, it's possible for sufferers to live into adulthood. It just reminds me of like the Florida people with the bath salts. Like they were eating other people.
That's true. Yeah.
Number 4. This one's interesting. Stone Man syndrome. Stone Man syndrome, officially called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressive, is one of the rarest and most horrifying diseases known to man. It's known from about 801 cases, and each of them was one too many. People with Stone Man syndrome have a genetic mutation that affects their body's self-repair system. Instead of healing injuries normally, their bodies repair any and all damage by forming bone. Got a paper cut? Your body will grow a bone to plug it. A bruise? Your body will begin turning the affected muscles into bone. Eventually, the sufferer's joints become locked and immobile due to excess bone growth. Perhaps the worst part is that there's no way to treat Stone Man syndrome. Any surgery would result in more bone growth.
Dude.
That's a crazy one, really.
Yeah, that is nuts.
I mean, if you were careful, you could just cut up your dick and eventually you have a rock hard dick 24/7. I mean, that wouldn't you would really just have to put yourself in like a foam room and be careful to never hurt yourself.
For sure.
I mean, that one is, I've never heard of that. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's bad.
Number 3, this one seems unavoidable. Water allergy. Water allergy sounds like something a child who doesn't want to take a bath came up with, but it's a real condition that's been observed in about 50 people. People suffering from water allergy, also called aquagenetic urticaria, develop hives and red itchy blotches when their skin comes into contact with water. Not only that, snow, sweat, or even tears can trigger the condition. Neither doctors nor scientists know what causes water allergy. They guess that it might have something to do with the sufferer's skin producing some irritating compounds when contacting with water. But no one is really sure. The only way to treat the disease is to simply avoid water in all of its forms.
Wow.
Steroids and antihistamines may be effective in relieving the skin issues. What makes me wonder, though, is if you drink anything, is it going to do that? Or does it have to be just pure water is going to do it? Does this person have to drink juice all the time or something? I mean, you're still getting water as the base, but
exactly. You need the thing that makes you sick to live.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Number 2, RPI deficiency. Ribose 5-phosphate isomerase, RPI deficiency is considered the second rarest disease in the world. Only 4 cases have ever been encountered. RPI is a vital enzyme for our human body's metabolism. People suffering from RPI deficiency don't have enough of it, which leads to multiple degenerative symptoms. RPI deficiency patients suffer from muscle stiffness, seizures, loss of sight, and loss of white matter in the brain. Needless to say, the disease is fatal. There is no cure precisely because RPI deficiency is so rare. Nobody knows what causes it, and as such, doctors are unable to treat it. And number 1, the rarest disease in the world, Field's disease. Field's disease is known from only 2 cases affecting twin sisters Catherine and Kirsty Fields. The disease seems to be degenerating the Field sisters' nervous systems. They suffer from up to 100 painful muscle spasms a day, and the condition has left them paralyzed and unable to speak without an electronic speech synthesizer. Although doctors are constantly learning about the disease, it won't help the Field sisters as the knowledge comes from their deteriorating health. We can only hope their mysterious condition may provide help for those who might suffer from it in the future. I mean, that's what really sucks about if you have a super rare disease. Yeah. Is the doctors don't have enough, a huge incentive to spend a crazy amount of money looking into it because it's it's only going to affect a handful of people. So they're just you're screwed.
Yeah, right. In this case, it's just them 2.
Yeah, literally two women. I kind of wonder though, if they're the product of lots of incest or something, just something weird, that could have caused it. It doesn't.
The fact that it happened to both siblings is kind of